South Africa, and you love my mountain, and you did my mountain, what on seven, by the ground, say, on one head, so the boat to come together. And united we shall stand. Let us live and strive in Africa. And love original and universal interpretation to all everything and all harmony. And unity. Oh, and daughter.
Thank you. You may be seated, Your Excellencies. Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Lopi from the SADC Secretariat. I'm honored to direct the opening session of this extraordinary SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government. The SADC Summit is responsible for the overall policy direction and control of functions of the community, ultimately making it the policy-making institution of SADC. Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, allow me to recognize formally His Excellency Mr. Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa and chairperson of this summit. I recognize His Excellency Dr. Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and outgoing chairperson of SADC. I recognize all their excellencies, heads of state and government, or representatives present here. Honorable Minister Mr. Ronald Lamola, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation of the Republic of South Africa and Chairperson of the SADC Council of Ministers, all honorable ministers and deputies present here, Your Excellency, the Executive Secretary of SADC, Mr. Elias Mahosi, the SADC Deputy Executive Secretaries, senior officials from member states, SADC Secretariat staff, members of the press, good afternoon, and welcome to the extraordinary SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government. Our program this afternoon will be as follows. We will start with introductory remarks from the Executive Secretary of SADC, His Excellency, Mr. Elias Mahosi. Following on, the Executive Secretary will invite His Excellency, Mr. Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa and Chairperson of this summit, to deliver his remarks. I now invite the Executive Secretary of SADC, His Excellency, Mr. Elias Mahosi, to deliver the introductory remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director of Proceedings. Very good afternoon to everyone. Your Excellency, Mr. Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa and Chairperson of SADC. Your Excellency, Dr. Emmerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and outgoing Chairperson of SADC. Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Honorable Ronald Lamola, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation of the Republic of South Africa and Interim Chairperson of the SADC Council of Ministers, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers who are present, officials from member states, staff from the Secretariat, members of the press, a very good afternoon, late afternoon. It is a profound honor and great privilege to welcome Your Excellencies to this extraordinary summit of Heads of State and Government. At the outset, allow me to express our heartfelt gratitude to His Excellency President Ramaphosa for hosting this meeting on the backdrop of a very successful but demanding G20 summit he hosted a few weeks ago. I also wish to extend gratitude to Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, for creating time from your demanding schedules to join this meeting and discuss issues of critical importance in the advancement of our regional integration agenda, including maintenance of peace, security, and political stability in our region. Your Excellencies, the extraordinary summit will this afternoon consider a report from the SADC Organ on Politics, Defense, and Security Cooperation regarding the October 2025 Technical Fact-Finding Mission to the Republic of Madagascar. The summit will also consider and possibly elect the interim incoming chairperson of SADC in accordance with our established principles. These matters are urgent and therefore require the extraordinary SADC summit to decide upon and enable a smooth functioning and execution of the region's affairs, guided by the very principles of solidarity, unity of purpose, and unity of purpose upon which SADC was founded. Your Excellencies, you are called yet again to decide on one of our member states that has faced disturbances and instability, all of which occurred right after a successful ordinary summit, SADC summit held in Madagascar. We have the full confidence that with your collective wisdom and leadership, a lasting solution will be found to help the member state to get back to normalcy as well as address all issues that caused these unfortunate developments. We trust that the region will partner with the Republic of Madagascar as she goes into a transitional period, but also hold the country accountable for all commitments to achieve a speedy restoration of peace and stability, rule of law, and expedited reforms. This stance will ensure that the country starts a new chapter towards a progressive, sustainable, and enduring democracy. Your Excellencies, you will recall that the extraordinary summit of the 7th November appointed the Republic of South Africa as interim chair of SADC, following the decision of the Republic of Madagascar to relinquish her role as the chair of SADC. The withdrawal of Madagascar created a gap in the SADC Troika, which ought to be closed to ensure a smooth functioning of SADC. It is in this regard, and as part of the agenda today, the extraordinary summit will consider, and as I said, possibly elect the interim incoming chairperson of SADC. We are therefore confident that the outcomes of this extraordinary summit will deepen our unity and strengthen our shared commitment to building a region where peace flourishes, solidarity thrives, and integration drives our prosperity. With these few remarks, it is now my singular honor and privilege to invite His Excellency Mr. Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa and the Chairperson of SADC, to deliver his address and officially open the extraordinary summit. I thank you most sincerely for your kind attention. Merci beaucoup. Muito obrigado. Asante sana. Zikomo. Ya leboha. Your Excellency.
Thank you, Executive Secretary Makhosi. I think you have not switched on the mic. Oh, can you switch, or can you hear me? Your Excellency, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and outgoing Chairperson of SADC, and Your Excellency, President Peter Mutharika, President of the Republic of Malawi, and Chairperson of the SADC Organ on Politics, Defense and Security, Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government here present, Honorable Minister Ronald Lamola, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation of the Republic of South Africa, and Interim Chairperson of the SADC Council of Ministers, Honorable Ministers, and Mr. Elias Mpedi Makhosi, Executive Secretary of SADC. And ladies and gentlemen, I greet you this afternoon. Allow me to thank you, Your Excellency, for accepting my invitation to this extraordinary summit, where we will be considering a report from the chairperson of the organ on the political and security situation in our sister country, Madagascar. As you will recall, we convened a similar session during the past month to attend to an urgent issue pertaining to the leadership of our organization. In September of 2025, the Republic of Madagascar experienced political challenges that resulted in the formation of a transitional government. In the light of this development, the extraordinary SADC Organ Troika Summit convened on the 16th of October to assess the situation in the country. The Organ Troika Summit resolved to urgently deploy a technical mission to undertake a fact-finding mission to Madagascar. The outcome of this mission is contained in the report we will be considering this afternoon. The developments in Madagascar in September this year brought to the fore the urgent need to accelerate the implementation of our regional development objectives to attain our SADC Vision 2050. This vision seeks to achieve a region whose peoples live in peace and harmony and can realize their economic potential. Through our SADC Protocol on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation, we seek to promote and maintain peace, security, democracy, and political stability in our region. The protocol also calls for solidarity amongst our people. Over the past years, we have made progress towards achieving these goals, notably with respect to consolidating democracy, promoting good governance, ensuring electoral integrity, and deepening a culture of human rights. At the same time, political and security challenges continue to plague parts of our region. The situation in the Eastern DRC remains of great concern. We also stand in solidarity with the government and the people of Mozambique in their quest for stability and security in the Cabo Delgado province. Madagascar has faced political and security challenges of a systemic nature. In 2009, SADC supported the people of Madagascar in their aspiration for democratic and peaceful future. Although important achievements were recorded, the recent developments indicate that much more work needs to be done to foster sustainable peace. Like all peoples in our region and our continent, the people of Madagascar yearn for a durable peace and development. We have a collective responsibility as the SADC region to make this a reality. Your Excellencies, in conclusion, this session will also be expected to elect the interim incoming chair of our organization, thereby ensuring that there are full and a complete troika to drive our regional peace, security, and development. I wish that at this summit we have fruitful deliberations as we have always had in the past. So I thank you and hope that our deliberations will lead to the resolution of the problems that Madagascar faces. I thank you, and I therefore now take us forward with regard to the agenda of our meeting. The agenda of our meeting has already been circulated.
will not become properties of individuals in the African National Congress. We are very happy that the Youth League we took to Congress 2 years ago is even better today. When we took you to Congress, it is us who are running that Congress. Today, when you came to this Congress, it is you who were running your own Congress. It was not the ANC that was running this Congress. That shows maturity and growth in the organization, that you are now a fully fledged organ of the African National Congress. So I want to thank you on behalf of the National Executive Committee for leading from the front, for making us proud, and let us now occupy the trenches of mobilizing young people around their issues going forward, and making it a point that the ANC Youth League becomes the super voice of the youth and becomes what Peter Mokaba called a boomerang of the youth in our country. And I want to thank all former members of the youth and former leaders of the Youth League who came here, and others who are not here. Continue to interact with them, because that is the well of experience. And those who will not make it, you are not lost. Come to the ANC. We are waiting for you in the ranks of the African National Congress. So, for those who will not make it to the NEC of the Youth League, Anilahlekanga, you are not lost. We are waiting for you in the ANC. Come home and lead the African National Congress. Amandla! Awethu! Amandla! Uzoyithola kanjani? Uhlele khoneni. Waphinda uMandela namdabipha. Waphinda uMandela namdabipha. Waphinda uSisulu namdabipha. Waphinda uMukala namdabipha. Waphinda uThabo namdabipha. Waphinda uKhona namdabipha. Waphinda uMangathi namdabipha.
Let's get seated, comrades. No bala chigelele, we African National
in the ranks of the former members, and let us now occupy it is you who are not become elected people in the Youth League who are 35. How can you fight to lead when you are 35? At that time, you must be living. So I believe young people and young women, and growing through the ranks steadily of the youth of the age is young people. At that time, people who are within the age. At some point, we elected people in the Youth League who were 35. How can you fight to lead when you are 35? At that time, you must be living. So I think when I look at the top 6, is young people and young women, and growing through the ranks, road as the youth. You must continue to imbue in the politics of the ANC radicalism, because we, as we grow older, we learn fear as we grow older. Now you start to think, I've got kids, I've got a wife. Nina, you don't think about kids and wives, you think about the future. And you must always say, we are the future and no one can stop us. Even when the ANC is going astray, it is the Youth League of Malachi that must intervene and say, this revolution is being sold out. We will listen to you. We will engage with you. Some of us, when the youth roars, we see flames and we see danger. And that is not what we must fear in the youth of our country. What is important for the youth is for the youth to be guided in terms of its militancy, in terms of the direction the National Democratic Revolution is taking. Comrades, the challenge of the youth is unemployment, and the Youth League have intervened decisively in terms of what needs to be done. Young people don't want handouts. We have said to the youth, when we build the black middle strata, that they must swell the ranks of education. We have made education accessible. What is important is how that accessibility translates into formal employment in terms of the economy of our country. And that's what is important. Young people, when they go to school, when they leave and look for employment, they are asked for experience. And we have said, even in the ANC manifesto, can the youth get experience at the workplace? That is where they must get the experience. And if, as the ANC, we forget about that, you must keep reminding us, even if it means marching, that we have taken a resolution. Young people must be at the workplace. Comrades, the youth and their socio-economic interests must be championed by the ANC Youth League. And comrades, here are the tasks that we want to talk about before we conclude. First, be organizers, not just orators. Take the resolutions from this Congress back to every branch, every campus, every township and every village. Mobilize young people, not around slogans, but around solutions. Lead community works, skills workshops, and voter education campaigns. Strengthen the Youth League and make it a vibrant organization at grassroots level. Rebuild that presence, root and branch, brick by brick, member by member. That's what is important from the Youth League members. Second, be the guardians of unity and discipline. A house divided cannot stand. The ANC looks to you as an important organization in this task, but as a necessary for future leadership. Debate fiercely, but decide democratically and uphold the decisions collectively. Respect leadership you have elected here today and hold them accountable. Protect your organization from the parasites of corruption and self-interest. Your integrity is non-negotiable. The Youth League must never be an organization of another leader or another member. It must be an organ of the African National Congress. You must breathe life into the African National Congress. You must stand for your views. You must display your understanding of the revolutionary theory that we are making it possible for all our structures and members to access through the program of political education, which we call the foundation course. Comrades, thirdly, be the bridge between generations. Respect the veterans who paved the way. Learn from their wisdom and their mistakes, but speak truth to power. Remind the mother body relentlessly of the urgent needs and soaring aspirations of the 67% of our population under the age of 35. You are the conduit through which the ANC renews its covenant with the future. There is no other bridge other than the ANC Youth League. It is you who are going to educate the ANC about the youth and their interests and give guidance, both in terms of policy and giving guidance in terms of what must happen when it comes to youth interest. Fourthly, comrades, remain at the cusp of popular culture. The dynamism of the Youth League must ensure it is alive to the evolving popular culture of young people in today's world, such as amapiano, digital innovation, and the ever-evolving social media platforms and engagement, among others. Ensuring relevance of the Youth League among young people means it must be alive and present in the spaces where young people interface and be part of their lifestyles. You must not be defined outside what is evolving among young people in terms of their evolution. You must always understand that the youth is not a homogeneous entity. Young people are not only found in the church, in the particular sector of soccer. Young people are everywhere. The Youth League must be dynamic. The popular culture that has come through over the years, from Kwaito to the evolution today of amapiano, must be understood by the Youth League as a dynamism and the identity of the South African youth, who have said we refuse to be like Americans. We too have got our own identity. And they came up with the genre of amapiano. And they've got an identity everywhere in the world. They came with Kwaito. When they sang hip hop, they didn't sing hip hop to mimic Tupac. They sang hip hop in their own mother tongue, in their Fennec, from Mafikeng to Soweto, to KwaZulu-Natal, to the Eastern Cape, and singing in Setswana, isiXhosa, and even in Shangaan, and singing about hip hop. They refuse to become a replica. Our youth culture is rich and evolving, and do not be left behind in terms of its evolution. Fifthly, comrades, be the champions of solidarity in advancing the African agenda. African Renaissance can't die in our lifetime. African agenda through NEPAD cannot die in our lifetime. The Youth League must champion that. When the youth in the continent is getting impatient and they found solutions in military juntas, and yet these military juntas are now justifiable, what do you do when in certain countries a 92-year-old wants to be president and the only thing that can make them not to be president is the grave? And the youth must rebel against that dictatorship. And that is what we said when we talked about African Renaissance. When you talk about what is happening in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Gabon, and elsewhere in the African continent, you will realize that the reason why the youth have embraced Traore and all of them in the Sahel, it is precisely because people are tired of dictatorship. And if the army rebels, it will get the support. But it is the masses of the youth who must be at the helm of the agenda of African Renaissance. It doesn't end there. It talks about African trade, and then African trade agreement that is there must be championed and defended by the youth. African countries must trade among themselves. Africa must stop to become beggars of others. If we are so powerful, we will not be a walkover by the United States of America. South Africa must not fight alone. It must fight with the rest of the African continent. It must never accept to be isolated from the rest of the African continent. We must not allow Donald Trump to isolate us from the African continent. We must fight as the African continent for our own African Renaissance. Comrades, we must stand up against neocolonialism, and that cause must be championed by the youth of our country under the ANC Youth League. Sixthly, comrades, we must renewal begins with the Youth League. What we have seen here and what we'll see going forward, for the ANC to be taken everywhere and be understood by everyone, it is through digital platforms. It is through the Youth League that is revolutionizing itself through social media platforms. The ANC, you will carry the ANC back into victory. And we are not in this Congress to accept that the African National Congress is done and dusted. The ANC will come back, comrades. It will come back through its ANC Youth League. And Comrade Malachi and his generation will carry that torch to the finishing line. Comrades, we wish you well, and we are very happy about this Congress. It was a peaceful Congress, not characterized by pettiness, factionalism. As we walk the path of renewal and ridding the ANC of factionalism and petty tendencies, we know that our Youth League will be in the forefront. In this Congress, there are no issues that somebody was bought, this and that. The ANC can learn better from the ANC Youth League. You decided on your leadership peacefully, without any hindrance. Nobody told you what must actually happen. And I want to, on behalf of the ANC, congratulate the comrades who have left, now joining the ranks of the ANC. The former Secretary General of the Youth League, Comrade Mtuapolo Ngudle, I want to congratulate him. Within a very short space of time, when they were assigned the task by the youth, they managed to keep the Youth League alive. The Treasurer General of the Youth League, hailing from Mpumalanga, also we congratulate him for the role he has played, and all other NEC members, and the first or the second Deputy Secretary General who did not come in. But I can tell you, comrades, if I have to say it, as I move towards conclusion, from a personal point, we have had an opportunity to lead the ANC Youth League. We led the ANC Youth League when some of us were almost aging and very old. This Youth League is led by real youth, people who are within the age. At some point, we elected people in the Youth League who were 35. How can you fight to lead when you are 35? At that time, you must be living. So I think when I look at the top 6 is young people and young women, and growing through the ranks steadily of the youth of the ANC. Comrades, maintain discipline, maintain theoretical clarity, be obsessed with theory of the revolution. In that way, you will remain independent. You will not become properties of individuals in the African National Congress. We are very happy that the Youth League we took to Congress 2 years ago is even better today. When we took you to Congress, it is us who are running that Congress. Today, when you came to this Congress, it is you who were running your own Congress. It was not the ANC that was running this Congress. That shows maturity and growth in the organization, that you are now a fully fledged organ of the African National Congress. So I want to thank you on behalf of the National Executive Committee for leading from the front, for making us proud, and let us now occupy the trenches of mobilizing young people around their issues going forward, and making it a point that the ANC Youth League becomes the super voice of the youth and becomes what Peter Mokaba called a boomerang of the youth in our country. And I want to thank all former members of the youth and former leaders of the Youth League who came here and others who were not here. Continue to interact with them because that is the well of experience. And those who will not make it, you are not lost. Come to the ANC. We are waiting for you in the ranks of the African National Congress. So, for those who will not make it to the NEC of the Youth League, Anilahlekanga, you are not lost. We are waiting for you in the ANC. Come home and lead the African National Congress. Amanda! Awethu! Uzoyithola kanjani? Uhlele khoneni. Wafika uMandela namdabipha. Wafika uMandela namdabipha. Wafika uSisulu namdabipha. Wafika uMukaba namdabipha. Wafika uChapa namdabipha. Wafika uKhombeni namdabipha. Wafika uMangachi namdabipha.
Let's get seated, comrades. Nobala Chigelele, we African National Congress. We appreciate your message in the Congress. Why Nobala, you must not leave.
Sorry, Deputy President, I will be killed, comrades. This conference of yours was made possible by Limpopo province. I want us to thank Comrade Provincial Secretary of Limpopo, Comrade Mataji. Kile Vice Chancellor ka be ke lebala province yaka. Hey, I will be dismissed. Madaji and the collective of Limpopo, Comrade Stenma Tabata, all of them, the PC for supporting. And also the former Deputy President of the Youth League, I'm told is here. I didn't see him. Andile Lungisa. Thank you very much, comrades. Thank you.
Amanda, Awethu. Amanda, Awethu. Comrades, we are going to give it to the Secretary General of the ANC Youth League, Comrade Sagani. We have a gift to hand over to the Secretary General with Comrade Zama. SG, can you come in front, SG?
Mnandi, sashuka mnandi, amagwala azobale, azobale, sashuka mnandi, sashuka mnandi, tambalula, tambalula. Sashuka mnandi, sashuka mnandi, mama, awethu, mama, awethu, royal. The ANC Youth League Secretary General of the ANC and the former president of the ANC Youth League and the former Secretary General of the ANC Youth League, this Congress have mandated us to gift you, SG, to gift you as a former leader of this organization, and as a beacon of hope of all generations of the ANC Youth League and the current generations that are here of the ANC Youth League. SG, with us, we have a book. We have a book of President, the longest serving president of the ANC, President Oliver Tambo, that we are handing over to the former president of the Youth League and the Secretary General of the ANC, Comrade Fikile Mbalula. With us again, SG, we have a very beautiful t-shirt. This t-shirt has the faces of all former presidents of the ANC Youth League, including yours. The last president here is President Colin Malachi. As a former president and the current president of the ANC Youth League. That is not all. We have a young man here who have drawn a portrait of yourself. This is the talent that we have amongst ourselves in the ANC Youth League. This is a gift for the SG of the ANC and the former president of the ANC Youth League. President, accept the portrait on the behalf of Congress. SG, before you leave, there's also another portrait for the president of the ANC because it's the one who opened our Congress. So the portrait will be handed over to you as well. On behalf of the president of the ANC and the president of the House. Thank you, SG, for raising this Congress. Thank you so much.
Mandla, O2, high discipline. Pasek, comrades, we are moving on. We are going to give it to our second first. The Secretary General Zama also the gift to the leadership in the ANC. You can take a stage leadership.
Which reached the delegation of the NEC led by the Secretary General, Comrade Fikile Mbalula. I'm here to do a small task, but a continuation. Our SG, Comrade Sakani, has already presented this program, and I think I'm not going to be too long, but it is also a very important item because we also wish to hand over a gift to the second DSC of the ANC, Comrade Marupin Ramaphosa. Please come forward, Comrade DSC. So we are handing over a gift to a clear product of the ANC Youth League that needs no introduction, a product of the ANC Women's League, an internationalist, a former ambassador, a minister in the presidency, and a good inspiration to us as a young women of the movement. We love you, DSG. We appreciate you for coming through for us, and the ANC Youth League, you give us hope and the strength to move forward with our program. Please receive this gift.
Mandla, before you leave SG, I have an appeal. Because when you addressed us, I was very excited. And I said, this is the leadership we need in the ANC. When I see you, I say youth leader. When you were presenting here, I said, but this man is still the president of the ANC Youth League. The ideas are still there. We want you to promise us that we are not going to be taken to the DC of the ANC. For some of the things that you have said here, you will experience a more radical National Executive Committee. We are here in this Congress, SG. We are not going to be captured. They tried. They did not win. Even when we came here, there was a serious capture and the influence of the outcome. They tried, but they did not win. We'll continue to be radical. We'll continue to raise views. We'll continue to represent the interests of young people. But promise us one thing. Systems of the ANC are not going to be used against leaders of the ANC to be silenced. That's the only promise we want from you. That whatever that you said, you will find it. The history is there. We've been consistent. But promise the National Executive Committee that systems of the ANC are not going to be used against leaders of the Youth League to be silenced. That's the promise we need from you, SG. We need that promise. We need that promise because we need to protect Comrade Colin Malachi. We need to protect our president. We need to protect our leaders. Issues that are being raised are issues that are critical that every leader of the ANC Youth League must be able to confront, fear for all generation, confront issues, but we don't want the systems of the ANC to be against us. Because leaders of the ANC, they have that potential. When you raise critical issues, you confront the status quo, they speak about DC of the ANC. Now we're saying we are ready, but we need voter to protect us and say, allow the Youth League to be radical, allow the Youth League to raise issues, allow the Youth League to be militant. That's what we want from you, SG. We don't want to be silenced. Young people are living on the basis that the Youth League is neutralized. And we are saying now, the Youth League must never be neutralized. We need former leaders of the Youth League to defend the revolution, defend the Youth League. That's what we need, comrades. For now, comrades, let's move a revolutionary song and allow leaders of the ANC to live and continue with our program. Amanda! Amanda! Comrades, yes, they must be here. Comrades, comrades, we had a program where we were taking provinces for adoption of pre-report president. The adoption of the political report of the president, the adoption of the org report of the Secretary General, the adoption of the Treasurer report, the adoption of constitutional amendments, and the adoption of the NGC resolution. There was a move, comrades, from Mpumalanga. But in terms of sitting arrangements, comrades, we are no longer the same. The second province, if I'm correct, was going to be Northern Cape. Can you give Northern Cape, comrades? Comrades, is Northern Cape covered? Comrades, we need a mic to go to Northern Cape. Where is it? Comrades, we need a mic to go to Northern Cape. Comrades, where's the mic?
Thank you very much, Comrade GP. My name is Donovan DeHayes from the Northern Cape. Comrade GP, then that we would want this conference to look into the issue of the equitable share formula that has been applied. As the Northern Cape, we are fully opposed to the current equitable share formula. That does not speak to, that only focus on the population. We are, Comrade Deputy President, opposed to the issues of looking only into the population, but we want to propose that we factor the issue of a distance, because the Northern Cape is one of the provinces that is very vast, and for issues of service delivery to be met, there are challenges of distance that we are not equitably receiving. So, Chair, this is our move. With that, we want to adopt all reports that Mpumalanga have proposed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, leadership. Can you go to KZN?
One, two. Amandla. Awethu. No, thank you very much, Comrade Deputy President, for the opportunity. My name is Damian Mukansi. I am from Ward 36, Sunduzi sub-region, Moses Mapita region in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. First of all, in terms of the NGC resolutions, the political report, one must say that the political report, Comrade Deputy President, was very comprehensive. It is adopted. The NGC resolutions are adopted. The organizational report as well, very comprehensive in nature, fully adopted. The financial report also adopted. Thank you very much, and I will proceed to deliberate on the issue of the commissions. Starting off, DP on ETC, slightly DP, because I'm an NEC member of SASC, I'll be biased towards some of issues that speak to the issues of students as well. On the issue DP of expropriation, the resolutions must speak also not just to low-income housing. However, we know that each and every year there are issues of students not having buildings. To females, sometimes it means that they sleep with landlords. Some are victimized by landlords. The expropriation must also speak to expropriation for the purposes of state-owned accommodation for students. Comrade DP, on the issue of beneficiation, reindustrialization, we know, Comrade DP, that as the ANC Youth League, we have been speaking about this for so long that there is even an organization that has stolen resolutions of the ANC Youth League and called it its own cardinal pillars. We have been speaking about this. This Congress must mandate the NEC to develop a policy framework to ensure that we realize this industrialization and beneficiation, so that it's not a matter of slogan only, but it is a real program of action that we will attain in this 27th Congress. I'm going to continue, Comrade DP, on organizational renewal. One must first of all welcome the vetting process, Comrade DP. But I think when it was coined, it was said that people will be vetted on the basis of criminal offenses, DP. Now, I believe everyone who is in this house is an activist, which means from time to time on your campuses, on your communities, you participate in marches. Some of these marches, they end up violent. Whether you like it or not, they end up in that manner. And our activists are processed, arrested, and sometimes they carry criminal charges. It must be noted that no one should be penalized on the basis of participation in programs that are meant to develop our people. Now, Comrade DP, I'm going to dwell a little bit on this one, on the Progressive Youth Alliance. First of all, DP, it's a very sensitive topic for us to have, but it is an important conversation that this Congress must have. DP, I want to remind you that there is no Congress of the YCL SA that has said and resolved that the YCL will contest SASCO in institution of higher learning. Their resolutions still stand. And so we must not, DP, make the mistake of believing that as a result of having issues with the SACP and the ANC, it will directly translate to the YCL. Yes, DP, it is correct to know that there is a potential that we are going there, but I think we must not create problems where they are not there. However, this Congress must once again empower this NEC to be able to take a strategic decision based on the material conditions that will unfold from this Congress onwards. Having said that, I'm going to move on, Comrade DP, to the final one, which is the battle of ideas, Comrade DP. We are saying that we want to penetrate spaces of media, but Comrade DP, it is not going to be by force where we are saying we want to go in. I believe here, Comrade DP, we have experts in their different various areas. Our local radio stations and even the advanced ones, they are always looking for specialties of people that are going to comment on subjects that are of interest. For instance, I can make an example by myself. I'm an expert, DP, on floods. You can't tell me anything on the topic. It means it's an opportunity for us to go there in our area of expertise. But when we are there, we must always remember to defend the ANC. This is what the DA has been doing. It has journalists, and these journalists are always ensuring that they advance the positions of the DA. We must do the same, but we must be better than them. Amanta.
Wait, comrades, before I move to other province, I want to check in terms of drafting, because some of the arguments that you are raising, the current first DSG, Comrade Zama, has been critical about them, I know, when she was a spokesperson, in terms of the investment of the ANC, trying at least in terms of communication. Because our understanding is that other organizations are investing in terms of the outlook. Now I'm saying, I don't want this to be a talk show. I will ask you to come on front and check if there's a person from drafting, formally submit that, or some of the proposals that we've made are very progressive. Can you go to Eastern Cape? Eastern Cape.
Greetings to the newly elected leadership of the ANC Youth League officials and to the delegates in the conference. I know I'm told to be, but I will be very short. Firstly, before I move with the adoption of the political report, org report, financial report, and the NTC resolution, I want to speak on the issue of the online membership system. as the leadership that was presenting the commissions there, spoke on the issues of the online membership. Whereas as a ANC Youth League, we need to move very fast on that particular aspect because there are many young people who wants to join the ANC Youth League, but they are struggling to get the access as to how best can they join it. So that online membership system is very important, and we must ensure that we
Amanda, comrades, we are requesting leadership to assist us. Comrades are leaving now. Provincial leaders must assist us. It's not because it's you, comrade lawyer. Now, there's a mistake that I committed, which I must agree that I've committed that mistake. I did not allocate time. Comrades have been voting throughout the night. We are understanding. I'm saying provincial leaders must assist us, but at least we are going to allocate time now. 2 minutes. If there's an indication from first DSG is raising her hand, you should stop and pass to another province. Continue. But I'm saying provincial leaders in the meantime must assist us. Can you be fast?
Okay, thank you, TP. No, I wanted to speak on the issue of the online membership. We need to fast track that thing as a matter of urgency, and we need to move with times. As the Youth League by now, we must be able to create profiles when we are joining the membership of the ANC Youth League, and also be allocated a time whereby, if your age allows, you can be able to pay your membership for a period of more than a year. I wanted to speak also on the issues of communication and strategy, also on the issue of digital migration. We need to move times because we are living on the times of fourth industrial revolution. So we must be able to empower the membership of the ANC Youth League to be active in social media platforms so that we can be able to defend the integrity, the values and the principles of the African National Congress Youth League and the ANC. Thank you.
Leadership. Captured. Limbombo. It's fine, there's an order, comrades. Comrades Bonel.
Thank you, Chairperson. Greetings, comrades. All protocol is observed. Chairperson, I'm rising on a point of order on the plenary first for having allowed Lutoli officers to consolidate resolutions on our behalf as branch delegates. That is a very crucial responsibility that should not be outsourced. So I think, comrades, as plenary, we must take responsibility for having outsourced that responsibility. Because once we outsource commissions, we outsource program of action, we outsource the struggle of young people. The next point of order is identifying us on provincial basis. This is the branch delegates. This is the National Congress of branch delegates, not provinces. So having identified us in provinces, that's the point of order. Allow branch delegates to discuss in a National Congress of branch delegates. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Well, let me rule on that point. Maybe let's give a school of thought. A point of order is when we are discussing out of context. Now, what you are raising is a submission which must be submitted to leadership to say there's that consent. But in terms of the items and the order on the table, we are discussing within because this is an agreed program. Now I'm saying, when you don't agree with us, there is no need to say a point of order. Because when you are saying I'm out of order, you are saying I'm speaking out of context in terms of what we are discussing. Unfortunately, we have said there must be a comment from provinces. All of us who have agreed. Now, you can't say when we are doing that, we're out of order, but we got an endorsement from the House. Secondly, we are correct. In the Congress, branch delegates. Now, that's why we are saying, when you introduce yourself, you must say, I'm Comrade Kianji Francisco from Ngoma, Ward 5. But we can't ignore that. This is a national Congress. A delegation is led through provinces. We are not saying a person from Limbombo cannot speak. If there is another person from Limbombo who wants to raise an issue, can raise that issue. But when we are giving a slot to Limbombo, we are not saying we are subjected to one person. Because the Congress is for all comrades. But if we are saying Eastern Cape, anyone within the delegation of Eastern Cape from a branch who wants to submit a view, that was the proposal, comrades. We never said we are going to listen. Because if that was the case, we were going to request provincial chairpersons to make a submission. Can you continue, comrades, with Limbombo? Thanks.
Thanks, Chair. My name is Phineas Savola.
I'm from Ward 18 of Blowback sub-region in the Limpopo province. Chair, we want to align ourselves with other provinces in seconding the adoption of all reports presented by the NEC in this plenary. We also want to make our inputs, of course, seconding also the adoption of all resolutions of the NGC, but make inputs on a problem statement that was raised on the PYA. For your information, Chair, it is a resolution of the YCL that the party must contest elections. Therefore, and the party, there's no assumption that the party will contest elections. The party is already contesting by-elections here in Limpopo. We are mooring them at all corners of the province. But Chair, our relationship with the party that we know is supposed to be a revolutionary relationship of in historical context of ideological interest. The party that we know would be guided by the workers and the working class. This party today that is guided by emotions has no revolution. There's nothing revolutionary in Solima Pilot taking any platform to attack the ANC. Anyone who comes out to attack the ANC must find us as the Youth League as the first line of defense. The party and YCL do not have any platforms except in messages of support of our programs because they can't even organize baby showers. The Youth League, therefore, want to propose that the Youth League must take a posture to ban the party and YCL in all of our programs. They come to our programs, steal our strategies, and Solima Paila becomes emotional and attacks our Youth League and the ANC. We want to propose that the Youth League must influence the ANC and advise the ANC to stop speaking English. The party is contesting elections, and the ANC is the one that is in state power. The party is contesting the ANC.
That's not bad.
Thank you very much.
That's not bad. Gauteng. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, DP. Let me also join the chorus and congratulate the newly 27th official office bearers. As Gauteng, we also want to align ourselves with the other provinces and adopt all reports as presented in plenary. DP, we also want to adopt the NGC.
Sorry, Comrade Bumi. Malla. Kawetu. Hi, Mr. Hi, Mara. No, you can continue leadership.
Thank you. We also want to adopt the NGC resolutions as presented in plenary, in particular, the resolutions from the ETC, the Economic Transformation Committee, particularly the resolution on spaza shops. As Gauteng, we want plenary to agree on an actionable program of action that will guide and implement this resolution on spaza shops. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gauteng. Northwest. It's fine if you are not offended because we are using. Okay, it's fine. Our man is in the church.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, Comrade DP of the ANC Youth League. My name is Cindy Swaskepers. I'm from Ward 8, Matlosana, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, Northwest. Chairperson, I would like to also join the other provinces that are adopting and also second the reports, the 3 reports, and also maybe augment on a few things in terms of the resolutions here taken here. We would like to firstly support the Northern Cape on the issue of equitable share proposal. And of course, Deputy President, with the biasness of rural areas to it. The second issue we want to speak about, Deputy President,
international policy decay and persistent inequality has led to severe consequences. The slow progress in reducing poverty and the worsening rates of inequality and unemployment directly resulted in 2024 electoral setback. This situation has brought the National Democratic Revolution to crossroads. The 27th National Congress acknowledges a critical turning point and a combined toxic and effect of corruption, international policy decay, persistent inequality has led to severe consequences. The slow progress in reducing poverty and the worsening rate of inequality and unemployment directly resulted in 2024 electoral setback. The situation has brought the nation and the democratic revolution to a critical crossroad. These failures have not only disappointed voters, but have also emboldened opposition forces, both within the country and internationally, that seek to undermine the progressive agenda. Bringing the NDR back on track, the delegates of this Congress agree that we need to do the following to bring the National Democratic Revolution back on grip and position the ANC as the leader of society. We must eliminate corruption because it weakens the government's ability to function effectively and damages its credibility with the people and undermines its authority. Our political organizations are facing internal decay, problems like infighting, the pursuit of wealth over public services, and growing disconnect from communities they represent are leading to major failures in delivering basic services to our people. The 27th National Congress declares that if we want to change our economy and society quickly and effectively, we must first fix this organization. We cannot rebuild the nation unless we also clean up or purify our organization. The 27th National Congress of the ANC Youth League observes with profound alarm the deepening crisis of South African society. The economy is still structurally colonial and apartheid in its core. The land question, comrades, remains the most potent symbol of colonial dispossession and the most critical obstacle to economic justice. The ANC Youth League reaffirms the constitutional obligation to ensure equitable access to land, but asserts that this must be achieved through a radical and non-negotiable program of expropriation of land without compensation. The ANC-led government must immediately enact legislation for the mass-scale expropriation of all strategies located urban land held for speculative purposes, as well as underutilized and mismanaged rural land held by absentee landlords and corporate interests. This land must be placed under the custodianship of the state for the benefit of our people. Expropriated urban land must be immediately released for the construction of high-density, integrated, and quality social housing. Rents in all state-owned social houses must be drastically reduced to maximum of 10% of the tenant's income, effectively decommodifying shelter for the working class. All well-located state land parcels, particularly those near economic hubs, must be permanently reserved for mixed-income housing, with a strict mandate to prioritize precarious and low-wage workers. The sale of any state land must be halted and subjected to a national audit and public consultative process, with the ultimate goal of retaining public ownership. City councils must impose rigorous and non-negotiable building requirements on all private developers, mandating that a minimum of 30% of all residential units be allocated for cheap, inclusive, and social housing with no financial compensation or opt-out losses permitted. Strategic nationalization for industrialization of our economy. The concentration of economic power is in the hands of the few. Racialized monopolies is the primary drivers of South Africa's structural crisis. To achieve genuine economic sovereignty and industrialization, the state must assert its control over strategic sectors of our economy. The ANC must move beyond mere export restrictions and demand the full nationalization of all strategic mineral resources, including platinum, groups, metal, lithium, rare earth, and iron ore. These resources are common heritage of our country and must be used to fuel a state-led industrialization program and not private profits. The Congress resolved that the democratic government must establish a state bank with a mandate to direct capital towards development and industrial projects, breaking the oligopolistic control of the private financial sector. Furthermore, we must explore the feasibility of nationalizing the South African Reserve Bank to ensure monetary policy is aligned with the development goals of NDR. The Competition Commission must be radically empowered with the legal and financial teeth to not only fine, but to break up and nationalize key oligopolistic firms in sectors critical to the cost of living and industrial production. The state must enforce a radical localization policy targeting a 50% reduction in reliance on imports in key sectors over the next 5 years. This must be coupled with a comprehensive industrial plan, focus on the battery storage, green hydrogen, and the new energy vehicle sector, with a strict requirement for 100% local assembly and manufacturing of components. The energy crisis is a direct attack on the working class and economy. costing the nation billions and deepening unemployment. The ANC Youth League reject the false dichotomy between development and environmental protection, asserting that true climate justice requires the developed world to pay the transition. The government must treat the baseload crisis as a national security threat and urgently deploy a state-owned, diversified energy mix. This must include the immediate full-scale deployment of nuclear energy as a clean energy. Reliable baseload sources to enable rapid industrialization and reindustrialization. While embracing renewable energy, the state must ensure that the entire value chain from manufacturing to assembly is localized in South Africa. Any reliance on imported components for the energy transition is a continuation of economic colonialism and must be rejected. The state must unashamedly continue the exploitation and exploration of South Africa's natural resources, including oil and gas, with all proceeds directed into a foreign wealth fund dedicated to funding free education, healthcare, and industrialization. The education system remains fractured, bearing the hallmark of apartheid, separate and unequal development. Education must be conceptualized as a single, unified system geared towards producing a skilled, conscious, and productive citizenry capable of driving the NTR. The ANC must revert to its historic position of conceptualizing the entire education system, from early childhood development to higher education and training, as a single, unified pipeline for national development. The administrative separation of departments must not dilute the conceptual clarity that education is a singular tool for liberation of our people. To restore the dignity of the girl child, the ANC Youth League continues to advocate for free sanitary towels for all young women in all public areas and schools, universities, and TVET colleges. The state must establish a fund of funds administered by a state-owned development finance institution. This fund must be capitalized by a mandatory 2% levy on the net profit after tax of all measured entities, with the sole purpose of providing concessionary finance and technical support to Black-owned, youth-owned, and women-owned small, medium, and micro enterprises and cooperatives. This is a revolutionary measure to dismantle the monopolistic value chain and create millions of sustainable jobs. The 27th Congress reaffirms the ANC Youth League's commitment to international solidarity and the struggle against imperialism and oppression globally. On Palestine, comrades, we support the Palestinian people's fight for self-determination, freedom, and end to the occupation. We condemn illegal Israel settlements and the ongoing human rights violation. And we demand the freedom of people of Palestine. On Venezuela, we support the Venezuelan people's right to self-determination and call for peaceful dialogue to resolve their economic and internal challenges. Without foreign intervention, the world must stand against Donald Trump's action actions of attempting to start a war at Venezuela. On Western Sahara, we support the people of Western Sahara in their struggles for self-determination and decolonization. And we condemn the occupation and human rights abuses that are happening in Western Sahara. We stand with the people of Eswatini, led by the Swaziland Youth Congress, Sayoko, in their efforts to remove the current monarch, as peaceful methods have reportedly failed. Comrades of Eswatini, we are with you in your struggle, and we will not rest up until Eswatini is totally free from oppression. Conclusion, comrades. Noting the evolution of South African society and the broader continental industrial landscape, the 27th National Congress of the ANC Youth League advocates strongly for economic freedom now. Currently, Africa's integration into the global economy disadvantages its people. To correct this, we must prioritize intra-Africa trade, internal industrialization, and the beneficiation of our mineral resources to spur jobs creation and commodity production. True economic liberation from global imperialist forces requires the ANC acting through a democratic developmental state to heavily invest in critical infrastructure. This includes energy to power industry, digital networks for universal connectivity, a logistics system to move people and goods efficiently. Ultimately, the call for economic freedom is a call to restore the dignity and sovereignty of the African people, ensuring the continent engages with the global economy on its own terms. Comrades, we continue saying that all our mineral resources must be taken from the soil to the factory. Economic freedom now and social change must happen now. Amanda, Matimba, Mata, Manda, all power, Amanda.
Amanda, comrades, the young man has also have a gift for the Secretary General. You can come over. Matlope. Patient. Manda, comrades, can you all of us stand up, sing a uniting song to welcome the president to do closing remarks? All of us, even if you are sleeping, all of us, let's have a uniting song and welcome the CEO of the organization to do closing remarks, comrades. It's a pity that I can't sing.
Away, two. Amanda. Thank you very much, Deputy President. I know me and you can sing, but because we had a long 4 days or 5 days, I think it will be very abusive of us to expect delegates not to be tired. But I think once more, I want to appreciate the discipline of delegates that have remained under these difficult conditions. But firstly, Comrade SG, it is very important that I thank the 26th National Executive Committee, led by myself and Secretary General Mtotolo Ngudle, who delivered once again the second historic General Council of the Youth League, delivered a successful national conference that does not require a second league. The ANC must learn from us that we don't require a second league, a second GSG. We've done all our work in one conference. It was not an easy journey. We faced many challenges, including the defunding of the ANC Youth League. But also leading at a time, we led at a time where the ANC was at 40%. But we still achieved, like the ANC is at 2/3 majority. Now, the renewal project, we took it serious. But also to thank Comrade Dixon, the NEC member of the ANC who's here, and many other NEC members who are here. I'm mentioning Comrade Dixon because every day he is the first to arrive, Comrade DSG, and the last to leave. It is very difficult to find an elder of the ANC who pays so much attention on the health of the ANC Youth League. Even yesterday, when the voting was happening until now at 11 a.m., Comrade Dixon was here monitoring that the Youth League delivers a successful conference. And I think we must thank him also. But also, comrades, were the conference blessed by almost all former leaders of the ANC Youth League. With almost all generations presidents and their deputies present here to bless us. Now, we are a youth league that is respected, and our respect was earned, Comrade SG. We had 3 officials. I think we're the first conference of the youth league, Comrade Matuna, to have 3 officials present. We're first blessed by the presence of the president, later on blessed by the president of the SG, and now still blessed by the president of the second DSG of the ANC. And I think we must take ourselves as serious. We had premiers here, we had mayors here, we had everyone here. Chairperson of committee, Comrade Donald, NEC members here. Almost the whole country was at standstill waiting for the conference of the Youth League to resolve. And I think you don't know how much power you have. That is the power that you have in command as the ANC Youth League. Comrades, delegates, leadership, the revolutionary youth of the African National Congress. We have gathered here in the 27th conference of the ANC Youth League in a well-known historic university of Limpopo. We've gathered here in a university that historically it was defined as an area to cage and divide the black majority. It was called so-called Bantustan universities. We take the route to self-correct and to sharpen the spear of our revolution. As we've taken the baton from Comrade Peter Mokaba, Ephraim Mogale, the president of the country, President Ramaphosa, on the journey for the total liberation of our people. And at this Congress, we declare that the time for polite debates are over. The masses demand action, and we must answer with no compromising. We must be committed to radical struggle for economic transformation. The crisis of an untransformed capitalism. We have declared, as outlined in our own declaration outlined by our SG, that the president, who agreed with us here yesterday, that the national disaster of unemployment and inequality is a disaster that the president of the country must declare on urgent basis. Comrades, the issue of unemployment and inequality is a national crisis that threatens the fiber of our democratic project. South Africa is its unemployment is the second highest in the world. South Africa unemployment is the second highest in the world. Only 16 million South Africans are employed and paying tax, while over 24 million are forced to rely on social grants. It is a disaster, which any caring citizen and activist must be shaking and worry about it. It can't be business as usual when almost the whole population of the country is dispositioned from economic activities of their own country. To make examples, Anglo-American is leaving South Africa after taking 169 of our minerals. Anglo-America is leaving us with one mine in Northern Cape. The PIC owns 6.9% of Anglo-America. But the decision is slowly. We're unable to recover and reposition our power. The 10% control 90% of our economy and the social economy of this country. It can't be tolerated that the CEO of MTN earns 80 million rand per year, while millions of the country can't afford even bread. The former CEO of Sibaya Steel Mines earned more than 300 million, while the workers are still struggling to put the meal on the table. The majority are left behind. And if that does not change, we're going to receive a big revolt. We've outlined as the ANC Youth League that is no longer sustainable where there's a high level of inequalities in the country, where countries like Europe and America continue to exploit our minerals at the expense of our people. It cannot be accepted that our country is deindustrialized while we have critical minerals that can revive our economy and create employment and business opportunities for this country. No one can explain why a continent like Africa, which is blessed with such important minerals, is the face of poverty. And countries with no minerals are the ones that are donating to an African country that has minerals, while they exploit our minerals on a day-to-day basis at the expense of our people. No one can explain why we can produce electric vehicles in South Africa, while China, that has no minerals that empowers electric vehicles, produces them. It is clear that there's lack of decisive leadership in the interest of the people. Because when there's decisive leadership, it will put the people of South Africa first and put others last. Because in the middle of a disaster, you put your people first and put others last. The failures of our municipalities. The AG was very clear that the majority of my municipalities are broken due to maladministration and corruption. We have corrupt mayors, we have corrupt municipal managers, and there is no clear consequence management. In the middle of high level of inequality and disposition of the black majority, the little that we have, it is still stolen by those who are given confidence by the people to guard the purse on their behalf. And as the NCUT, we must declare corruption the enemy of the people. We must be inspired by countries like China that when you are caught of corruption, you must be put on the death penalty because you have stolen from the poor of the poorest. If you are requested to build 100 houses and you build 10 houses, it means you have stolen from 90 households. You are not a person that belongs to be amongst our people. And I want to make this emphasis. The ANC is not corrupt. The people who are corrupt are those who have infiltrated the ANC, who are stealing, who have been deployed to in the interest of the people on behalf of the ANC. We must be able to isolate those who are corrupt from the ANC and leave the ANC as a clean organization and as a parliament of the people. We must not agree that the ANC must be put on trial on Majanga Commission, ad hoc commissions. Individuals who associate themselves with criminals must walk the journey alone, because the ANC have never sent any individual to associate themselves with criminals who kill people, who kill kids, who sell drugs every day. Those people are not our comrades. Anyone who associates with criminal, it is not the comrade of the African National Congress. We must defend our artists, comrades. Majority of our artists who are young in the creative industry are exploited every day by big companies. They die poor due to greedy recording labels. If it's not the Youth League that doesn't speak on their behalf, no one will speak on their behalf. We must stand up and join hands with them to fight for their protection and to fight for them to get what belongs to them, because they work very hard, they perform everywhere, but when they die poor. While bosses of music industries continue to exploit them and to get richer and richer. We must acknowledge, comrades, that AI has arrived. But if AI, AI must not be utilized to collapse our industries, must not be utilized to collapse our universities. We need to fully implement a clear tax program of anyone that wants to use the technology so that our economy is protected against any other exploitation from those that want to use technology to exploit and steal from our people. We must stand against all DA ministers who don't implement the NTR. We must stand against all DA ministers who want to suspend the triple PE. We must stand against all DA ministers who want to reverse the gains of freedom in the name of the GNU. We can have a minister of communication called solely somebody. I can't say Malati. Who is working very hard to undermine a clear policy of the ANC called the triple PE that was put in place to address the injustice of the past, because we acknowledge as the ANC that there was once apartheid that dispositioned majority of black people from fully activities of their own economy. So Lee Prefect somebody says he will undermine that policy that people have fought for and died for, to open space for his friend from America to introduce programs here that undermines our security, that undermines our policies at the expense of our people. We're saying to the president, Comrade Soli, or whoever, not Comrade Soli, whoever Soli is, must urgently be removed. He can be form part of government of national unity. The ANC must be decisive and not be apologetic. We did not enter the government of national unity to reverse the gains of freedom. We're clear and excited about the global balance of forces shifting. We're happy to see China rising and the influence of the USA declining. We'll always stand with China against the imperialist USA. And we're saying all the critical minerals to produce phones are here in Africa. We're saying the introduction of export quotas must make it possible that the Congo minerals that are utilized to produce phones are produced here in South Africa. We're saying from the soil to the factory, not from the soil to the river. We can't exploit our jobs when the youth is unemployed. We're saying anyone, especially our BRICS partners, must work hand in hand with us to make sure that the industrialization policy of the ANC is fully implemented with the support of our partners in the BRICS. That is the kind of friendship we want with the BRICS. We don't want a big brother, big sister friendship. We want a partnership in the BRICS. We can't move away from the USA exploitation of imperialists and find other imperialists that in the BRICS who don't want to support our industrialization policy. Comrades, South Africa is one of the highest homicide rates in the world, with 11 women murdered every day. With 11 women murdered every day. And we agree with the president that it is a disaster. It can't be business as usual when our sisters and children are raped and killed every day. Our justice system must move with speed. It can't be allowed that rapists are moving in our streets every day. We're calling upon our government to introduce the death penalty for anyone who rapes and kills women. Women and children can't live in fear in their own country. They can't live in fear under apartheid and still live in fear under democratic South Africa led by the African National Congress. We have a crisis in our hands. The rise of teenage pregnancy. We're saying as the Youth League, teenagers must be in the classroom, not at home with kids. We must fight and mobilize against teenage pregnancy. And if there are those who are still practicing ukutwala or any other tradition that forces young girls to be married to old men, our government must fight against it. No child must be married to some old man who has failed to ask out his peers, who takes advantage of kids because of their background in poverty and call it culture. We'll never allow that. We call upon the cancellation of all historic debts of students. It can't be that we're declaring ourselves that we're unemployed, we're still put on debt by our own government. It will never happen, we'll never allow it. We're calling upon the cancellation of student debts on urgent basis, or in January, we'll join hands with SASCO and march the Department of Higher Education until those debts are cancelled. Education is a right, not a privilege. And everyone has a right to access to education from whenever background that they're from. We're saying township power shops must be owned by only locals. There is no way somebody can move as far as Somalia to come and open a car wash. Who says South Africans can open car wash and pawn shops? We're calling upon the Department of Small Businesses to assist the youth of this country to take charge of all small businesses in this country. And we're calling upon the police and everyone else to enforce the bylaws to remove all illegal foreigners and foreigners in our own local businesses. Illegal, when you're an undocumented foreigner, it means you are illegal in the country. We can't tolerate and accept that our infrastructure of schools, hospitals, and everywhere they're hijacked by illegal foreigners. We will never accept that illegal foreigners arrive and hijack our towns and townships and sell drugs, and our law enforcement agencies don't do anything. We're saying to our government, enough, it's enough. If you don't remove the illegal foreigners, we'll remove them ourselves as the ANC clique because we're fed up. We're not going to live in fear in our own country because of illegal foreigners. The revival of the ANC is a serious demand. The unity and the integrity of the organization is a serious demand. We cannot allow our ANC to be liquidated. We must build this ANC for the sake of the black majority. We must build an ANC that is trusted, that has got integrity. Because we believe that every message depends on the integrity of the messenger. Even if you can put a one councillor on a pole, in the community, comrade GSG, they know him, that is a thug in the community, even if the ANC can force him to speak against crime and stand in public meetings, they will not listen to him because the integrity of the messenger is in question. And the problem of the ANC is of that. No one trusts what the ANC says anymore because those that we send to communicate on behalf of the ANC, their integrity is in question. And as the Youth League was saying that we need to restore the integrity of the messenger. We demand exploration of land without compensation. We demand nationalization and building of heights of the economy. We demand one people's bank, which is a state-owned bank, to be implemented on urgent basis. We demand that 70% of our raw materials must remain in this country for beneficiation, and only 30% must be exploited for the benefit of our people. We demand the ban of foreigners in our township economy. We demand that all characters of power, the youth must be represented. We want the youth as councillors. We want the youth as mayors. We want the youth as board members. We want the youth as CEOs of SUEs. We want the youth in all characters of power because we are no longer going to give our responsibility to anyone else. We want to take charge of our own future. We can't postpone that any longer. We are saying that on urgent basis, the youth must urgently take charge. We demand quality education, healthcare, housing, sanitation, basic services for all. We are called to action. Comrades, make no mistake, the struggle will be in our hands. The objective conditions are against us. The interest of capital will resist every attempt to change the status quo. It is no longer sustainable, Comrade JSG, that the economy of the country does not reflect the demographics of the country. It does not make sense that 10% of people of the country control the economy of the country, while 90% of the people are dispositioned. It can no longer be accepted. It's a main reason why the ANC is at 40%. Because the people of South Africa are saying that 30 years later, we're still in informal settlements, we're still unemployed, we're still not in business, we're still not having access to education as we wanted to have it. We're still seen, and the economy of the country is still racially divided when we're saying that we're leading a non-racial society. But we're leading a non-racial society of an economy that is racially divided. What kind of non-racial society when the race, which is white males in majority, control the economy and blacks are in poverty? But we're saying that we're non-racial. We're non-racial where? When we're in areas of importance, we're dispositioned. We are still under apartheid when the economy is still in the hands of white people. We're saying enough is enough. I always emphasize this, PSG, that when you're unemployed, you lack dignity. Even in your family meetings, they don't invite you to comment when you can contribute. Now the youth here, they can't even date because they don't even have money for data or Uber or airtime because they're unemployed. We need to restore the dignity of our people. But comrades, we will build power in the streets, in the workplace, in the communities. We will explore and fight against the status quo that protects imperialists. We will defend the country against America or anybody else who wants to recolonize South Africa, because there is no big brother called America who will tell the ANC-led government that they can form part of the G20. We're saying to our president, he must attend those meetings by force. If it means that he must be arrested and be killed in America, he'll be killed on behalf of South Africans. Thank you very much.
Manda. Awethu. Comrade Jesse.
Manda. Amanda. Comrades.
Of SADC. May I now invite the Executive Secretary of SADC to read the communique. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director of Proceedings and Chairperson of SADC, President Ramaphosa. This is the communique of the Extraordinary Summit of SADC Heads of State and Government held on the 17th December 2025 virtually. The Extraordinary Summit of Heads of State and Government of Southern African Development Community, hereinafter called SADC Summit, was held virtually on the 17th December 2025. Summit was attended by the following heads of state and government or their representatives. Botswana, President Advocate Duma Gideon Boko. Democratic Republic of Congo, His Excellency President Mr. Felix Antoine Tshisekedi Tshilombo. Madagascar, His Excellency Colonel Michael Randria Nerina, President of the Refoundation of the Republic of Madagascar. Mozambique, His Excellency President Mr. Daniel Francisco Chapo. South Africa, His Excellency President Mr. Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa. Namibia, Her Excellency President Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah. Zambia, His Excellency President Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. Malawi, the Right Honorable Justice Dr. Jane Ansah, Vice President. United Republic of Tanzania, His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Emmanuel John Nchimbi, Vice President. Angola, His Excellency Ambassador Tete Antonio, Minister of External Relations. Lesotho, Honorable Mr. Lejonim Pochwani, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Relations. Zimbabwe, Honorable Professor Amon Murira, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade. Mauritius, Honorable Mr. Dananjay Ramphul, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Regional Integration and International Trade. Eswatini, Honorable Dr. Tambo Gina, Minister of Economic Planning and Development. Seychelles, Mr. Christian Fore, Director General for the Regional Affairs Division of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Summit was also attended by ministers from the SADC member states and the Executive Secretary of SADC. Summit received a report from the chairperson of the SADC Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation, His Excellency Professor Peter Mutharika. Arthur Peter Mutharika, President of the Republic of Malawi, on the technical fact-finding mission to Madagascar from the 19th to 26th October 2025, which assessed the political and security situation through consultations with diverse stakeholders. Summit welcomed the restoration of calm in Madagascar, noted the national consultation processes launched by the transitional government on the 10th December 2025, and reaffirmed its commitment to remain engaged with the political and security situation in the Republic of Madagascar until an elected government is established through electoral processes. Summit engaged the transitional government of Madagascar, urged the transitional government of Madagascar, led by His Excellency Colonel Michael Randrianirina, to initiate a Malagasy-led and owned inclusive national dialogue during the transitional period to pave the way for fresh elections and facilitate the peaceful return of political exiles. Summit further called on the transitional government of Madagascar to ensure that the reform processes are timely, inclusive of all stakeholders, and create a conducive environment in which political exiles can contribute meaningfully to the dialogue. Summit approved the deployment of the SADC panel of elders by March 2026, led by Dr. Joyce Banda, former president of the Republic of Malawi, together with the Mediation Reference Group, supported by the Secretariat to facilitate and support the ongoing processes of restoration of political stability, democracy and peace in the Republic of Madagascar. Summit directed the SADC panel of elders to engage His Excellency Dr. Joachim Chissano, former president of Mozambique and SADC Special Envoy to Madagascar, to provide contextual background on previous interventions and outstanding issues, focusing on constitutional reforms, electoral processes, and the rule of law in line with the SADC Treaty. Summit reaffirms the region's strong position on protecting constitutional rule and democratic governance, and emphasizing its commitment to bringing back peace, constitutional order, and democracy in the Republic of Madagascar. Summit directed the Republic of Madagascar to submit a dialogue readiness report and a draft national roadmap by 28 February 2026, followed by periodic updates in May, August, and November 2026 to the chairperson of the SADC organ. Following the appointment of His Excellency Mr. Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, as chairperson of SADC, Summit appointed the Republic of Zambia as the interim incoming chair or deputy chair of SADC. Summit directed the Secretariat to coordinate with African Union and international partners to mobilize financial, technical, and logistical resources for reforms and avoid fragmentation of efforts. Summit expressed appreciation to His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, President of the Republic of Malawi and chairperson of the organ, for his leadership in consolidating peace and security in Madagascar and the SADC region. Summit conveyed profound appreciation to His Excellency Mr. Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, for his leadership and contribution to the advancement of SADC's regional agenda. The chairperson of SADC expressed heartfelt gratitude to all heads of state and government for their participation in the extraordinary summit and for their continued commitment to advancing the regional integration agenda and programs of SADC. This communique is done on 17th December 2025 in Pretoria, the Republic of South Africa. That's the end of the communique.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Executive Secretary of SADC, Mr. Elias Mahosi. That was the reading of the communique from the extraordinary SADC Heads of State Summit. We're now going into the closing remarks to be delivered by the chairperson of SADC, His Excellency President Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa. And after that, we'll proceed into the anthems. Your Excellency, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Program Director, Your Excellencies, Heads of Government, Heads of State, Ministers, ladies and gentlemen. We've now come to the end of our meeting. Allow me to once more thank you for your participation in this meeting. We also extend our appreciation to our ministers and senior officials for the very excellent preparatory work that has gone into this summit, as well as to the Executive Secretary and his hard-working team. Our deliberations on the developments in the Republic of Madagascar have been substantive, detailed, constructive, and most importantly, outcomes-based. The decision we have taken to deploy a panel of elders and mediation reference group to Madagascar evidences and demonstrates our collective commitment to a peaceful and stable region here in Southern Africa. The mission will engage with all stakeholders in Madagascar to ensure there is an inclusive process leading up to the holding of fair and credible elections. We call on the people of Madagascar to take this opportunity to deeply reflect on the challenges facing their country and choose the path of peace, unity, reconciliation, and development. The unity of purpose that has governed our engagements on this and other critical matters affecting our region is indeed commendable. We must continue in this vein. We welcome the restoration of calm in Madagascar and have noted that the national consultative processes launched by the transitional government on the 10th of December have proceeded well. As SADC, we reaffirm our commitment to continue and to remain engaged with the political and security situation in the Republic of Madagascar until an elected government is established through an electoral process. As SADC, we urge the transitional government to initiate a Malagasy-owned and led inclusive national dialogue during the transitional period so that it can pave the way for fresh elections, and facilitate the peaceful return of political exiles so that they too can participate in this national dialogue that should be owned, managed, and given direction by the people of Madagascar themselves. We further call on the transitional government to ensure that the reform processes that need to be embarked upon are timely, that they are inclusive of all stakeholders, and that they should create a conducive environment in which all the people of Madagascar can contribute meaningfully to the dialogue. This must be a Madagascar-owned and led dialogue. For it is the people of Madagascar who must find their own solutions to the challenges that they face. SADC's role and participation is to support through the various processes that we have announced today and have decided on to enable the people of Madagascar to engage with each other and to have serious dialogue with each other on finding solutions that must be owned by the people of Madagascar. Inasmuch as conflict and instability in one part of the region, that is of SADC, impacts us all, our cooperation is key to our region's stability, our region's peace and progress. Lastly, but certainly not least, we wish to congratulate His Excellency President Hichilema on his election as incoming chair of the SADC, subject to confirmation, of course, by summit as has been done. I look forward to working closely with you, Your Excellency President Hichilema, my brother, as we advance the mandate of SADC in pursuit of peace, security, and a shared prosperity for the region and all its peoples. It now is my absolute joy to wish you all a blessed festive season as you now, as we do in this region, enter a period of rest, rejuvenation, spending time with family and friends, and I wish you all a prosperous year that is ahead of us, 2026, and wish each one of you the very best. So I thank you for enabling us to have such a successful summit. So thank you very much. I now declare this meeting ended. But Program Director, I hand over to you to give us the next order.
Thank you, Your Excellency. The meeting has been closed. Shall we all rise for the anthems, beginning with the anthem of African Union, followed by SADC anthem, and concluding with Republic of South Africa anthem.
Unity. Oh, of His love.